Part 1. The Bardo of the Moments of Death. Instructions on the symptoms of death are the first stage of the Shikai Bardo, the primary clear light seen at the moment of death. The setting face to face with the clear light during the intermediate state of the moment of death is, here, some there may be who have listened much to religious instruction, yet not recognized, and some who, though recognizing, are nevertheless weak in familiarity. But all classes of individuals who have received the practical trainings called guides will, if this be applied to them, be set face to face with the fundamental clear light, and without any intermediate state, they will obtain the unborn Dharmakaya by the great perpendicular path. The manner of application is: it is best if the guru from whom the deceased received guided instructions can be had. But if the guru cannot be obtained, then a brother of the faith, or if the latter is also unobtainable, then a learned man of the same faith, or should all these be unobtainable, of the same faith, or should all these be unobtainable, then a person who can read correctly and distinctly ought to read this many times over. Thereby the deceased will be put in the mind of what he had previously heard of the setting face to face, and will at once come to recognize that fundamental light and undeniably obtain liberation. As regards the time for the application of these instructions, when the expiration bat ceased, the vital force will have sunk into the nerve center of wisdom, and the knower will be experiencing the clear light of the natural condition. Then the vital force, being thrown backwards and flying downwards through the right and left nerves, the intermediate state momentarily dawns. The above directions should be applied before the vital force had rushed into the left nerve, after first having traversed the navel nerve center. The time ordinarily necessary for this motion of the vital force is as long as the inspiration is still present, or about the time required for eating a meal. Then the manner of the application of the instruction is, when the breathing is about to cease, it is best if the transference had been applied efficiently. If the application had been inefficient, then address the deceased thus: "Ho, nobly born, so and so by name, the time hath now come for thee to seek the path. Thy breathing is about to cease. Thy guru hath set thee face to face before with the clear light, and now thou art about to experience it in its reality, in the Bardo state, wherein all things are like the void and cloudless sky, and the naked, spotless intellect is like unto transparent vacuum without circumference or center. At this moment, know thou thyself, and abide in that state. I too at this time am setting thee face to face." Having read this, repeat it many times in the ear of the person dying, even before the expiration has ceased, so as to impress it on the mind. If the expiration is about to cease, turn the dying one over on the right side, which posture is called the lying posture of the lion. The throbbing of the arteries on the right and left side of the throat is to be pressed. If the person dying be disposed to sleep, or his sleeping state advances, that should be arrested, and the arteries pressed gently but firmly. Thereby the vital force will not be able to return from the medium nerve, and will be sure to pass out through the Brahmanic aperture. Now the real sitting face to face is to be applied. At this moment, the first glimpsing of the Bardo of the clear light of reality, which is the infallible mind of the Dharmakaya, is experienced by all sentient beings. The interval between the cessation of the expiration and the cessation of the inspiration is the time during which the vital force remaineth in the median nerve. The common people call this the state wherein the consciousness principle hath faded away. The duration of this state is uncertain. It dependent upon the constitution, good or bad, and the state of the nerves and vital force. In those who have had even a little practical experience of the firm, tranquil state of dhyana, and in those who have sound nerves, this state continued for a long time. In the setting face to face, the repetition of the above address to the deceased is to be persisted in until a yellowish liquid begins to appear from the various apertures of the bodily organs. In those who have led an evil life, and in those of unsound nerves, the above state endureth only so long as would take a snap of the finger. Again, in some, it endureth a long time. It endureth as long as the time taken for eating a meal. In various tantras, it is said that this state of swoon endureth for about 3½ days. Most other religious treatises say for 4 days, and that this setting face to face with the clear light ought to be preserved. Let me stop here. Preserved. Preserved enduring the whole time. The manner of applying these directions is, if when dying one be one's own self capable of diagnosing the symptoms of death, use of the knowledge should have been made ere this. If the dying person should be unable to do this, then either the guru or the shishwa or the brother in the faith with whom the one dying was very intimate should be kept at hand, who will vividly impress upon the one dying the symptoms of death as they appear in due order, repeatedly saying, at first, thus. Now the symptoms of earth sinking into water are come. When all the symptoms of death are about to be completed, then enjoin upon the one dying this resolution, speaking in a low tone of voice in the air. O nobly born, or if it be a priest, O venerable one, let not thy mind be distracted. If it be a brother in faith or some other person, then call him by name, and say thus, O nobly born, that which is called death being come to thee now, resolve thus, O this now is the hour of death. By taking advantage of this death, I will so act for the good of all sentient beings, peopling the illimitable expanse of the heavens, as to obtain the perfect Buddhahood by resolving on love and compassion towards them and by directing my entire effort to the soul perfection. Shaping the thoughts thus, especially at this time when the Dharmakaya of the clear light in the state after death can be realized for the benefit of all sentient beings. Know that thou art in the state, and resolve that thou wilt obtain the best boon of the state of the great symbol in which thou art, as follows. Even if I cannot realize it, yet will I know this Bardo, and mastering the great body of union in Bardo, will appear in whatever shape it will benefit all beings whomsoever. I will serve all sentient beings, infinite in number as are the limits of the sky. Keeping thyself unseparated from this resolution, thou shouldst try to remember whatever devotional practices thou went accustomed to perform during thy lifetime. In saying this, the reader shall put his lips close to the ear and shall repeat it distinctly, clearly impressing it upon the dying person, so as to prevent his mind from wandering, even for a moment. After the expiration had completely ceased, press the nerve of sleep firmly, and a lama, or a person higher or more learned than thyself, impress these words thus: Reverend Sir, now that thou art experiencing the fundamental clear light, try to abide in that state which now thou art experiencing. And also in the case of other person, the reader shall set him face to face thus: O nobly born, listen. Now thou art experiencing the radiance of the clear light of pure reality. Recognize it, O nobly born, thy present intellect in real nature void, not formed into anything as regards characteristics or color, naturally void, is the very reality, the all good. Thine own intellect, which is now voidness, yet not to be regarded as of the voidness of nothingness, but as being the intellect itself, unobstructed, shining, thrilling, and blissful, is the very consciousness, the all good Buddha. Thine own consciousness, not formed into anything, in reality void, and the intellect shining and blissful, these two are inseparable. The union of them is a Dharmakaya, state of perfect enlightenment. Thine own consciousness, shining, void, and inseparable from the great body of radiance, hath no birth nor death, and is the immutable light, Buddha, Amitabha, Amitaha. Knowing this is sufficient, recognizing the voidness of thine own intellect to be Buddhahood, and looking upon it as being thine own consciousness, is to keep thyself in the state of the divine mind of the Buddha. Repeat this distinctly and clearly 3 or even 7 times. That will recall to the mind of the dying one, the former when living, setting face to face by the Guru. Secondly, it will cause the naked consciousness to be recognized as a clear light. And thirdly, recognizing one's own self, one becometh permanently united with the Dharmakaya, and liberation will be certain. Instructions concern the second stage of the Shikai Bardo, the secondary clear light seen immediately after death. Okay, I'm going to stop there and come back again.